Hello, everyone. Welcome to QR Dizzle. Tonight on the program, I like to say peace be with you. Follower count is what makes people notice you. Nothing, it's hard to read because I'm blind. Nothing else unless you're beautiful. Fuck, I fucked that up. I review the comic books ODIN and Pounds of Power tonight. Bernie wants us all to own AI. How about that? Big bucks tonight. And Joan Cussack is spilling the boring on Toy Story 5. You know why I can't read? It's not that I'm illiterate. It's that I'm blind as a bat in these glasses. I got to update my prescription because I'm looking at this thing right in front of me. I have to go like this. I have to tilt my head like this to see it. Let's try it again just to see how well I can do it, okay? I like to say peace be with you. Follower count is what makes people notice you. Nothing else unless you're a beautiful woman. I review the comic books ODIN and Pounds of Power. Bernie wants us all to own AI, and Joan Cussack is spilling the boring on Toy Story 5. See, that's the difference when I put my head at the right angle, but I'm trying to look cool and just read it kind of like nonchalantly. And when I'm looking through the top of my glasses, it's blurry and I can't do it. I can't. So, but I'm trying. I'm trying, everyone. This is QR Dizzle, and I'm your host, Paul the Serini. That's the Paul the Serini. It's correct. It's correct. Paul the Serini. I'm Paul Serini. So, okay. Just a little bit awkward getting off. I'm not getting off. Just a little bit awkward getting going tonight. I got to get this brain warmed up a little bit. I was reading the Bible before, so my head is all cerebral, and it's in that. It's true. I'm like in the middle of Genesis. Because recently I finished reading the New Testament, and I decided I want to keep up my pattern of reading the Bible every day. So I went back to the beginning of Genesis, and boy, oh boy, am I reading some strange stuff in there. It's hard to like see God as the same God reading Genesis as when I'm reading the New Testament. Very different versions of God, and I don't quite discern how that's possible, but it's on my mind, and I think about it philosophically and spiritually, and I pray for discernment. I want to know what's the deal with the very big difference seemingly between God in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Yes. In any case, let's move on. You know, speaking of biblical things, I'm a person who likes to tell people, peace be with you. It's one of the ways I like to say goodbye to a lot of people. When I'm saying goodbye, I say, peace be with you, or just peace. But oftentimes I'm saying, peace be with you. And that's something that Jesus Christ used to say. And I think that's perfectly normal to say that, but I know that it weirds some people out. And some people have even wondered, like, well, you're not black. Why are you saying peace? But like, I don't quite understand culturally how in any way there's something wrong with me wishing people peace. And I mean it. Like, I want people to be at peace, to live at peace. And so what's so awkward about me giving people an offering of peace? Peace be with you. I like saying that. I say that at the end of my video programs, and it's just something I like to say, and I like it. So I'm going to keep doing it. But it's not me who has the problem, or evidently I have I'm not at peace knowing that it bothers some people when I say peace be with you, but I do think some people like it. And so therefore I will continue to say peace be with you to people, because it's not a joke when I say it. I really do want you to be at peace, unless, if it disturbs your peace, I'd say that's on you. But when it disturbs your peace, when I wish you peace be with you, it disturbs my peace because I don't understand what your problem is when I'm wishing you peace. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, my brain is starting to get that groove going where it's like those verbal things are connecting and I'm making sense. And I just liked the way that I ended that particular little subject matter right there. Beer goggles are to thinking a person is more attractive as followers are to admiring a person more. What does that mean? It means like when you drink beer, you know how men, when you drink beer, we've used in the man world, ladies, some of us men talk like this. We talk about beer goggles. When you're drunk, all of a sudden, a lot of, mid women might seem like 8s, 9s, or 10s. it lowers your standard of beauty, or does it make the standard, or does it make beauty more visible? I don't know. Which is more objective then, when you're sober and observing beauty, or which is more beautiful when you're drunk and something seems more beautiful? Is that more objective, or is that less objective? I don't know. It lowers inhibitions. It exaggerates things. It lets your mind fill in the gaps where it would normally want to. So I don't know what's real. Truth depends on your perspective. In any case, I'm relating that subject matter to how people oftentimes don't give you full credit as a human being. I see all kinds of people doing this. I feel it from all sorts of people who have some notoriety and some followers under their belt, that they don't quite treat you like someone who's worthy of respect. Like, too much in our contemporary modern era, having followers means to so many people, too many people, that you're right and that you're worthy of attention and that you're worthy. I mean, I've noticed it. I've felt from people like they're not too into what I'm doing because the follower count isn't there. And so, like, but I really do appreciate people who notice what I'm up to. Like, they can notice that I'm putting a lot of effort into trying to do something of quality. So some people stop and smell the roses, and in this case, I'm the roses. Hello, thank you, I'm the roses. But I really don't like people who, so I've said this other saying I came up with myself. I don't think anyone's ever said this before, but you know the saying, blood is thicker than water? And I've been saying lately that followers are thicker than brethren, meaning that I've seen Christian people who give much more attention and import to people who, even atheists who have a ton of followers, when they want to like get on that bandwagon with that person who has a lot of followers, than they do their own Christly brethren. And so I just want to put that idea out there to think about that a little bit, that some people actually do that, and that bugs me a little bit. So, yeah, I wanted to get that out there, and I will move. Let's move on now, shall we? I want to discuss these two comic books before I move on to talk about Bernie Sanders wanting you to own AI. I want to talk about these two comic books. I read these two comic books, okay? I've been hearing a lot of guys talk about ODIN and how cool this comic book is. I didn't know what to expect reading this, but I kept hearing how cool not only the artwork is in it, but how sort of intelligent and sophisticated the writing in the story is, and it actually is. And it's like, I don't know how to come on here and review these things without giving spoilers, but I didn't know what to expect reading this. I thought it was going to be just some kind of interesting, suspenseful thriller type thing, but it actually turns out that this is a horror story, a grim horror story, and it was a little surprising, and it's gritty too, because these people are out in the forest and they do some hallucinogenic things, and then bad things happen. And one of them is a reporter, and she's like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? And I don't want to tell you all of what that is. If you want to read it, before these run out, go get a copy of Odin. I have to agree, it was kind of interesting. And today I got the second copy in this series. And so I will be talking about that one in my next recording, which is probably Saturday night. But I really enjoyed this. It was worth my time. I'm really finding that I'm enjoying reading the comic books. No doubt about it. So here's one I picked up several weeks back. It's called Pounds of Power. And this book is dedicated to a comedian by the name of Ralphie May. And I think that people he's related to, for some reason I want to say April May might be his wife. Ralphie May was a comedian who passed away, who was a very heavy-set fellow, but very funny, exceptionally funny. And I have to tell you, I have a fondness for him in my heart, specifically personally I do, because he graced me and my crew with his presence when I used to do a program called Marijuana Radio back in the day. He came on the phone and he talked to us, and we had a good jovial conversation with him. And so this story here, this book, and so he passed away from, I believe, cardiac arrest was the story, and it's not surprising. But so the story is a comedic story. It has humorous elements, and you see how he's fat on this cover here. And the name of the character that's based on Ralphie May is Johnny. And he lives in this, or he works in this company where they have this scientific concoction they give him that gives him super strength that is derived from his fat reserves. And I thought that's kind of funny because Ralphie May was very inclined to be self-deprecating in a very good, funny way about his being a very heavy-set individual. And so this was pretty good, and I don't want to get too into it. I just bought the 4th issue. I ordered it online today, and I have to get the 2nd and 3rd, and I've been poking my nose around trying to find it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but this was very good, and I enjoyed it. And like I said, I wake up in the morning now and I go like, what the heck? I'm like reading comic books now. And comic books are the perfect thing to convert into movies because basically it's a storyboard that has been conceived. And I could totally see how when directors read comic books, they see the sequential imaging and illustrations that people make with the story and the script. And a talented director who has like a vision in their head, like they can imagine it, they'll be like, holy cow, I could do this. I could make this movie out of this comic book. And so I find it fascinating how, so when you get these limited edition comic books like #1s, it really boosts their demand and value on the collector value of the product when they make a movie out of it. So I hope they make movies out of these ones I'm getting, but I'm actually just trying, I'm not trying to be calculated about the ones I buy. I'm just trying to buy things that I like. And I'm not digging into the history of comic books as much as I am trying to sort of pick ones that I like out of current issues that are going to market or out there already. But in any case, now it's time to move on to the very next thing. Is that bell a good segue? I don't know if that bell is a good segue, but I am using that bell as a segue nonetheless. That's what I want to do. What have we next? Oh my goodness. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read this in a very special way because I like trending topics, okay? I went to AI today and I'm like, give me 20 trending topics. And like, frankly, most of the topics it gave me were either boring or completely things I do not want to talk about because of the controversy associated with having one opinion or another. I'm not looking to make enemies here. I'm just trying to add flavor to certain thoughts and ideas about things that are going on. So here we are. Next one. Bernie Sanders' AI plan. Bernie Sanders wants you to own AI companies directly. Bold vision for the future or socialist nightmare? Let's break it down. I don't know why I hear the Batman theme coming after I read that little thing right there, but this is not possible. This whole idea that he has the ownership mechanism is a one-time 50% tax on the stock, not profits, of the largest U.S. AI companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, and others above. 20 million revenue. Companies transfer 50% of their equity directly to a new, I'm like doing the socialist Bernie Sanders accent here, to a new federal sovereign wealth fund. How it becomes a reality. Legislation has to approve this thing, okay? I find this highly unlikely that will happen. So the fund will be managed by independent commission. And I'm like, yeah, right. I'm sure all the people in charge of the sovereign wealth fund, you know, to benefit the American people, I'm sure it'll be so upfront and democratic and transparent. Yeah, right, sure. Sure. So benefits and payments, fund shares in growing AI firms, potentially trillions in value, profits generate dividends, revenue distributed to Americans, like annual payouts. One estimate is $1,000 a person. Oh, wow. Thanks, Bernie, for the $1,000 a year. This is very socialist. And that's from a 5% yield. I'm not sure what that means, 5% yield. Like 5% of what the total revenue is would produce $1,000 per person. But it does sound very communist-ish to do this. And then there will be more money for education, healthcare, housing. Nothing communism related in that, I'm sure. Every time I hear housing, I'm like, communist. Let me see if this real quick. Yes, okay, I do have a crash on here. I can use this same crash here. I just was not remembering of that button. I was afraid if I hit that button, I'd hear music. But in any case, let me continue here. I have a short video from Bernie Sanders, and then I'm going to get into this very deeply. So this is highly controversial. It faces major legal political hurdles, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Opposition calls it theft. Of course, the companies that want to do this are like, hey, no, that's stealing. It's unlikely to pass soon, anytime soon. So let me click open this video here, because I have like a timeline. I have a little bit of Bernie Sanders that I want to listen to here as I go about my business, and I do this. And I want to go to where do I want to go in the timeline here? 137 is where I want to go. 137, because I definitely have opinions about this. I don't even think I needed to research anything in order to be able to talk about this.
Before us. And let us be clear. AI was not created out of thin air. The foundation of AI is our collective human intelligence. Let me repeat that. The foundation of AI is our collective human intelligence. Our
Continue
books,
on, yes.
songs, artwork, journalism, computer code, scientific research, videos, conversations, images, and ideas spanning generations.
And just to clarify, Bernie is highlighting very much the creative aspect of what trains AI. And so I have much more to add on top of that in just a moment, but let's keep listening to him, and I will stop momentarily here and there to make commentary.
Sam Altman himself acknowledged AI models were trained on our, quote, collective experience, knowledge, and learnings of humanity, end quote. The reality is that big tech oligarchs have fed this knowledge into their AI models without permission, acknowledgement, or compensation. In other words,
okay, so in other words, like, yeah, he's certainly highlighting the creative aspects, like musical chord progressions that are put into it, or the way people draw certain styles of drawing, and so yes, creative and copyright are one issue with AI that needs to be fleshed out and needs to be talked about. Like, what are people going to do when their creative works are stolen by AI and AI creates something just like it? And there have been incidences like this already where, there are gigantic copyright issues that have to be sorted out with this. And so let me just continue with him a little bit longer.
The creative work of millions and hundreds of millions of people has been stolen by the wealthiest people in the world. The time has come to reclaim what was stolen from us. Since AI is built on the collective knowledge of humanity, the wealth it generates must benefit humanity, not just Elon Musk.
Yeah, so good luck. He's focusing on the wealth and how the wealth benefits humanity. Okay, that's like one dimension of the issue of AI here that is of great import. He's talking about the wealth. He's isolating the wealth because that's his bread and butter, being like, these rich people, we're the victims of these rich people. And this is a wealthy man here too, by the way, who has multiple houses and stuff. And I don't necessarily trust Bernie Sanders, even though sometimes things that come out of his mouth sound just. They give the appearance of justice. The problem with AI is more than copyright, though, Bernie. It's about complete and total social control of the masses over purchases, autonomous movement, speech, getting loans, getting health insurance rates, social credit scores, basing all these decisions on social credit scores. Meaning, like, it could become something that's so overwhelming that depending on who you talk to, they're like, hey, you're talking to that person, your credit score is lower, now you don't qualify to go on vacation, you're not allowed to travel, you're not allowed to travel out of this zone, and your money doesn't count out outside of this zone. There's more to it. There's just so much more to it. Like your speech. If you have the wrong belief, you might not be able to get health insurance or house insurance or car insurance or a loan if you associate with the wrong people. So, like, I imagine AI, when you truly conceive of it as beyond just generating wealth for these billionaires because it's some kind of intellectual tool or something, which would be nice if that's all it were, but we're talking about something that already exists as a prototype in China, which is very hyper controlling in their lives. It like is it's documenting your every move from birth to the grave, every single solitary thing you buy, every single place you go, and having on file so many conversations that it's collected over the years, listening to you through your TV, the Internet of Things, listening to you through any Internet of Things device that's connected on the internet that has a microphone in it, and it's just creating this documentation. It's filling you in as a person throughout your whole life, and it's limiting you based upon the social credit score. So to me, that's so much more important to evaluate these things. The ultimate centralized control, managed all through digital ID, which is like how they tie it in, how they identify you. And then everything about you and your life is in one tiny little packet of data that is accessed before you're able to do anything, before you're allowed to do anything, before you're allowed to spend. They might take your money away for having the wrong belief. There's nothing democratic about it. So earlier in that video when I was listening to it, like Bernie Sanders is always one of the people who's like, our democracy. And it's like, I never think of it as a democracy. I know that technically it's supposed to be like a republic, a democratic representative republic. However, the democracy, when I hear democracy, I think, well, that's masquerading. That's not really what it is. We don't live in a democracy. And it kind of frustrates me because you hear people say it a lot, and they tout democracy like it's, what do you call it? It's pandering on one level. It's lip service. It's using, what is the phrase, or what is the terminology when someone is using flowery language to puff something up? I'm forgetting what it is right now. I should know because I'm an academician, dagnabbit. In any case, it amounts to complete and total surveillance of our lives from birth to the grave. And I say, I want to be able to use things like this as a tool. In this show here, I'm using it as a tool to better my. This is AI made right here. There's a lot of this, not all of it, that is AI. I am utilizing AI as a creative tool for like decoration in my show, including the one I'm starting next week, Quantum Recall, which you should come and watch on Thursday, 12:30 Mountain Standard Time, June 25th. I'm doing that, and there's a lot of AI in it. I have AI skits that are going to be played at the end of breaks, and it's a lot more sophisticated of a production than this, and so check it out. I must say, indeed, check it out, people. It's going to be cool. I want to talk about Joan Cussack, okay? And you'll be like, the way I handle this topic is ridiculous. You remember when I said earlier in this recording how I asked AI, I said, hey AI, I go, hey Grok, give me 20 trending topics that I can talk about. And it gave me 20 topics, and Joan Cussack is back and spilling the beans on Toy Story 5. But wait until you hear how this sequel is shaking up the franchise. Are you excited? No, seriously. Are you excited? Are you excited? Because I'm not excited. I'm not excited. And if you're excited, we're not on the same wavelength. And so that's why I'm talking about this trending topic, because I couldn't really care less. And so let's just hear a quick clip of Joan really fast talking about. It's not a long one, okay? And what I'm a little alarmed by in this clip is how time has passed and Joan is not the same looking person. And I'm not really wanting to be cruel about it, but truthfully, it's a then and now thing. And so I'm just alarmed when people are in movies, they are captured on film and they look they're timeless in that film. And then so decades go by. Decades, you hear me? I'm saying decades. These are not short amounts of time in the life of a human being. And so decades go by, and then all of a sudden you're elderly Joan Cussack. And I'm not understanding why or how that could happen. But let's hear what Joan has to say. Bore us, Joan.
The film, the first.
Regale us with the boring stories you have to tell us about Toy Story 5, which I could care less about as a trending topic.
I was like, oh my God, they took on tech.
Oh, big time.
Oh, yeah.
And she's always had that kind of talk. She does that. She's Joan Cussack. She does that with her voice.
No, because you've seen the film, right?
It's really, really
Could
good.
you believe they did that?
No, they did it in a really, really smart way.
Didn't they?
Yes, absolutely.
I thought it was like a beautiful way
Can't wait to see it.
take on tech.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, at the end of the day, I thought it was like, there's nothing better than laughing with your friends.
She kind of sounds drunk. She's speaking slowly or something. I don't know about that. But really what strikes me about this clip is we're all aging. And so I think of Joan Cussack. I like Joan in 16 Candles from the 80s. Working Girl from the 80s. I like her in that, but her hair is gnarly. It's heinous in that movie. And my goodness, idiosyncratic personality. But I really like her personality and performance in School of Rock. But again, she's aged since School of Rock. It's been just not that long, but it's long enough to like age someone out and make me freak out by the then and now. And I can't think of much else I'd like to say about Joan Cussack is that I don't know why parents in Hollywood name their two famous kids nearly the same name. Of course, she has the brother John, so there's Joan and John Cusack. No, why? Just why do you do that? And Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister Maggie, they look too much alike. They didn't get the same name, thank goodness. But no, they are two famous people who look too much like one another. I don't know if you've ever seen a girl who looks like her brother and you're like, that's kind of weird. She looks like her brother, a man. And so you recognize that she looks like that man. And I don't know if you've ever gotten weirded out by that, but I've gotten weirded out by that before. I will say also there's one more duo in Hollywood, brother and sister, Jason and Justine Bateman. Why in the world would two parents give them two names that start with J? Except I can say about those two, they do not look alike. I think Justine is the one who's grounded. I'm fond of Justine. Justine actually tweeted me recently about the topic of AI because I said, stop trying to illegitimize people just because they use AI as a tool. And then I can't remember what she said back, but she was kind and she was nice about it. But I had people hating on me in that thread because of my stance that it's just a tool. I'm like, it's a tool, dude. Yeah. And, but yeah, so Jason's the weirder of those two. But again, parents in Hollywood, what is it with but yeah, at least they don't look alike. And I mean, like I had a mad crush on Justine when she was Mallory in the 80s in her role on Family Ties. My goodness, love her. And I think she's a grounded person in real life. And she was polite to me when we were talking about AI. And when she like retweeted my tweet, and I guess she has all these followers, and no matter what, it's like people don't go, hey, what's this guy say? I think I'll follow him. No, because I'm not hot. Like I said, I don't have the followers. And so like I started out this podcast saying, if you don't have the followers, people don't take you seriously. But if you have followers, other people are like, well, I want to get on the bandwagon with this. I like him. It's like he has a lot of followers and so I'll follow. Or you don't have to have a lot of followers if you're a hot woman, but then like the people invariably who will be following you in droves are like simpy dudes who are like, I guess if I follow this girl, it's like playing the lottery and maybe she'll notice me because I don't know, I kind of am cool. You might be blue-pilled simpy cool, but you're still blue-pilled and simpy. And I try not to be those things. I do simp sometimes. I must admit, as a man, I am weakened and I am frail when I'm faced with the wiles of a beautiful, wonderful, sexual woman who's intelligent, especially. You put all those things together. I can see a woman who's like a playing guitar, and if she's really good and she has a beautiful voice, all of a sudden it like really elevates her sexual value in the marketplace to me. And the marketplace just meaning like her attraction. I'm just talking about the quantification of the attraction I have to such a woman is elevated by her natural talents. And when she's putting them on display in public like that, and not in a overly provocative way, not in a sinful way, just I'm attracted to talented people. I like guys. I'm not into guys, dating guys or anything, but I like admire people who are talented, and it elevates everyone in my eyes when they're talented and they're great at their skill. And so, but you know what? Guess what time it is? I will do this impression again. I want to keep these things around half an hour long, so I want to keep this tight. I will look up the name of that character when I will look up the name of that character from Breaking Bad because I don't remember the name of that character. And so, but I'm going to start wrapping this up right now as I read to you this. No. Wait, come back to this. I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm still getting this mix down. I need a stream deck here to make this easier. I'm Paul Serini. Quantum Recall starts on Thursday, June 25th at 12:30 p.m. MST, Mountain Standard Time. Streaming live on X and Rumble. Please go to quantumrecall.tv. Check out the social media page. Follow me. Help me. I'm begging you. If you dig what I do, if you think there's something cool and I have potential, follow me. Never mind that I don't have followers already. Just believe in me and I can do it. I can do it also because I just feel like I'm on a good trajectory with all these things. But I want to say I'm Paul Serini. The truth is my business, and peace be with you all.